How JB Mauney rode his way to $7 million. An announcer's voice, electric with tension, cuts through the noise. 42 times in a row on the Built Ford Tough Series. No man has made the 8 seconds. The baddest beast in the business. The unrideable. Bushwacker. 1-7. The footage is raw, violent poetry. A wiry, determined man is locked in a battle with nearly a ton of furious muscle. This is the ride that defined a legend, but it was just one stop on a journey that made him the richest cowboy in bull riding for nearly a decade. He's called the Dragon Slayer, the Michael Jordan of bull riding. But one title really set him apart. He was the first cowboy in history to earn over $7 million. So how did one man, in the world's most dangerous sport, conquer the baddest bulls ever born and build a multi-million-dollar legacy? This is the story of how JB Mauney rode his way to $7 million, the making of a legend. James Burton Mauney was born in Charlotte, North Carolina, with a fire that just couldn't be put out. For him, bull riding wasn't a sport, it was the only path. He went from riding sheep at age 3 to climbing on his first real bull at 13. The course was set. He found a mentor in the 1995 world champion, Jerome Davis, a man who knew both the glory of a world title and the devastating cost of the sport, having been paralyzed by a bull in 1998. Being around Davis's resilience taught a critical lesson to young Mauney. He'd later say, "You realize a lot earlier than most guys that if you're going to do it, you better mean it, because one day it's here and next it's gone." There was no plan B, no safety net. It was a gold buckle or bust. This all or nothing mentality wasn't a choice. It was just who he was. His father, an amateur steer wrestler, once told him, "You play the game, you take the pain. This is your decision to do this." Mauney lived by that code his entire life. It was a simple, brutal philosophy that would forge him into the toughest man to ever nod his head in a bucking chute. He turned pro in 2005, and by 2006, the PBR world knew his name. He snapped up both the Challenger Tour Championship and the coveted Rookie of the Year title. But it wasn't just his wins that turned heads. It was his attitude. While other riders might play it safe, picking a bull they knew they could ride to get a decent score, Mauney walked into the arena with a different kind of hunger. He lived by a simple creed: if you want to be the best, you've got to ride the best. He didn't just want to win, he wanted to dominate. He would systematically pick the rankest, meanest, most feared bull in the pen, the one that other riders prayed they wouldn't draw. This earned him the nickname that would define his career, the Dragon Slayer. He wasn't just there to compete, he was there to conquer. The road to riches. Key milestones. Earning over $7 million in a sport where you only get paid if you last 8 seconds is a monumental feat. Mauney's fortune wasn't built overnight. It was stacked, ride by ride, championship by championship, through a mix of historic wins, incredible marketability, and pure, unadulterated grit. The cornerstone of his wealth came from his 2 PBR World Championships. In 2013, Mauney delivered one of the most dominant performances in PBR history. At the World Finals, he went an incredible 6 for 6, winning the event and securing his first gold buckle. That single week in Las Vegas earned him a stunning $1,385,500, pushing his total for the year to over $1.8 million. It was a life-changing payday that cemented his place at the top. But he wasn't done. He once reflected on that first title, saying, "You strive for something your whole entire life, and then once you achieve it, it's kind of like what you do now." That question drove him. After a quieter 2014, he stormed back in 2015, capturing his second PBR World Championship and adding another massive $1.5 million to his career earnings. These 2 victories alone, with their million-dollar bonuses, built the multi-million-dollar foundation of his wealth. But money is only part of the story. Legacy is written in moments, and no moment is more central to the JB Mauney legend than his showdown with Bushwacker on the 17th of August 2013. Bushwacker was a living myth, a bull with a terrifying streak of 42 consecutive buck-offs on PBR's premier tour. He was considered unrideable. After 8 failed attempts, this was Mauney's 9th chance at the beast. The world was watching. For 8 seconds, he matched the bull's explosive power with flawless technique and sheer willpower. When the horn sounded, the crowd erupted. He hadn't just ridden him, he'd earned a massive 95.25 point score, one of the highest in PBR history. That ride did more than win him the event. It transcended the sport. It was David slaying Goliath. This single moment massively boosted his profile, making him a household name and an even more attractive partner for major sponsors. His stardom drew in powerhouse brands like Monster Energy, Wrangler, and Yeti. In a sport where your next paycheck is never guaranteed, these sponsorships provided a steady, significant income stream. Mauney's fearless image was the perfect fit for their brands. He wasn't just wearing their logos, he was the living embodiment of the rugged, relentless spirit they wanted to sell. This marketability, built on the back of legendary rides, was a critical piece of his financial empire. The culmination of this relentless drive came on the 5th of November 2016. The specific ride wasn't his highest score or his most famous, but it was the most significant financially. He nodded his head, rode a bull named Red Dawn, and when his score came in, the official announcement was made. JB Mauney had become the first bull rider in history to surpass $7 million in career earnings. He had shattered a barrier once thought impossible, proving that a cowboy could build an empire in the dirt. The price of glory. $7 million comes at a cost. In the world of bull riding, that cost is paid in flesh and bone. JB Mauney's body is a roadmap of his career, and every inch is scarred with the price of greatness. To understand how he made the money, you have to understand what he was willing to sacrifice for it. His injury list is the stuff of nightmares. Take the 2017 Calgary Stampede. When his hand got caught in his bull rope, the bull stomped on his shoulder, and in his own words, skin was the only thing holding it on. It was a catastrophic injury that required a screw and 13 anchors to put back together. Doctors said he might never regain full use of his arm, let alone ride again. For Mauney, that was just another challenge. The list goes on, a brutal testament to his creed of, you play the game, you take the pain. A broken back, a groin was torn completely in two, broken legs, a torn ACL and MCL, shattered ribs, a lacerated liver. He was notorious for avoiding the sports medicine room, often choosing to walk off an injury or, famously, light a cigarette while waiting for paramedics. After one wreck that broke his neck, he calmly told the medics what happened and then sat down at a picnic table to smoke while waiting for the ambulance, figuring he wouldn't be able to in the hospital. This wasn't bravado, it was just him. Pain was temporary, but the fire to compete was eternal. He once said, if something's not worth dying for, what's the point of even living? It was this almost superhuman tolerance for pain that allowed him to compete for nearly 2 decades in a sport where the average career is just a few years. He didn't just endure the pain, he weaponized it, using it as fuel to push himself past limits that would have broken any other man. JB Mauney redefined what was possible in bull riding. If you're enjoying this look into his legendary career, go ahead and subscribe to the channel for more stories about the icons of the sport, the legacy, and the next chapter. When JB Mauney finally announced his retirement in September 2023, it was on his own terms, but not by his own choice. During a rodeo, a bull named Arctic Assassin bucked him off, and he landed on his head. He knew instantly. I just broke my neck, he told his friends. The injury required a rod and screws, and doctors gave him the final, non-negotiable warning. Another hard fall could lead to paralysis, or worse. The Dragon Slayer had finally met a battle he couldn't win. His final PBR earnings stand at a staggering $7,419,474.90. He is tied with Justin McBride for the most Premier Series event wins in history, with 32. He holds the record for the third most 90-point rides with an incredible 75. For nearly a decade, he stood alone at the top of the all-time money list, a record that seemed untouchable. While two-time world champion Jose Vitor Leme has since surpassed that total in 2025, it was Mauney who set the benchmark. He was the pioneer who proved that a bull rider could earn not just a living, but a fortune. But his legacy is more than just numbers in a record book. It's in his philosophy. It's in the way he inspired a whole generation of riders to be fearless, to choose the rankest bull, and to leave everything they have in the arena. Retirement hasn't meant walking away from the sport that defined him. In 2024, Mauney stepped into a new role, head coach of the Oklahoma Wildcatters, a new team in the PBR Team Series. Now, instead of nodding his own head, he stands on the back of the chutes, trying to instill that same fire, knowledge, and no-quit attitude into a new generation of cowboys. He still owns the XV Ranch in Texas, where he raises bucking bulls, including the now-retired Arctic Assassin, the very bull that ended his riding career. From a determined kid in North Carolina to a multi-millionaire icon, JB Mauney's story is a testament to the power of a singular focus. He risked it all, paid the price in blood and broken bones, and in return, he achieved immortality. He conquered the legendary bulls of his era, won 2 world championships, and became the first man to cross the $7 million mark. He changed the game forever. Even now, as a coach, the fire that drove him to be the best is impossible to extinguish. In his own words, which perfectly capture the heart of a true champion, he says, "The day they put me in the grave, I'll still be wanting to get on bulls, but I'm done." He may be done riding, but the legend of the Dragon Slayer, the $7 million cowboy, will live forever. What is your favorite JB Mauney ride of all time? Was it his conquest of Bushwacker or another legendary 8-second battle? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the greatest legends in sports history.